world is becoming a global village. Because of this, we find that there's a certain connection that is being created by the social space. And as an individual, you should be active in that social space if you want to attain certain goals, either internationally or on a domestic level. I'll testify to this. I have connected with people who are responsible for my success and other personal achievement on the social space, in this case, LinkedIn. So I find myself using my LinkedIn space to connect with experts and other people as far as collaborating on research and business ventures.
Welcome to the ICT Minds podcast. On this very special episode, I am here with Tichakunda Mharazanye, all the way from India. Your brother I've grown to know from LinkedIn, and without wasting any time, Teacher, take the stage, introduce yourself, and share a bit about yourself with the audience.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Advaya, and it's much of a pleasure for me to actually connect with you and to be hosted on such a remarkable podcast. As for me, I'm Tichakunda X Mharazanye, and I'm a pharmacy student who's currently in his 6th semester of studying in India. And that's the brief of who I am and what I stand for. I'm actually a pharmacy student. Yeah.
Wow. Can you share a bit about your journey from Zimbabwe to India and what you have learned along that process?
Yeah. For me, I would rather say it was more of a miracle. Because initially I never thought of me doing pharmacy from the start. I wanted to become like a metallurgical engineer. Those guys would be more interested, like ventured into minerals, mixing of metals and what so forth. But something happened when my A-levels actually, during my A-levels, I didn't actually reach the required points for doing that program, which was around 13 points. So I was forced to look for alternatives. So in the midst of like the havoc and the hectic moments, I actually got a call from one of my friends who's in India, and he wanted to know like my future steps at that moment. So actually I shared with him like what I was going to do, and he's the one who introduced the idea of me studying pharmacy since I was interested in chemistry. So that's when like the whole journey started, and I started applying for India. And the best part about India, they're more concerned about you having 2 or more A-levels. They're not mostly concerned about your points. They're concerned that if you have like, do you have a pass in any 2 A-levels and or more. So in my case, I had more since I was having 9 points. So I actually applied and I got a place in India studying for pharmacy. So that's how it started. So yeah, from then, it follows like the hectic moments of like preparation. Then we started like preparing like for the whole thing. Since it was like my first time to move out of the country and to using air. And trust me, I was scared. I remember the first time I was sitting with that in the aeroplane and it just took off from the airport. It was almost like I was going to have a panic attack, but as much as yeah. After a few hours, I was okay. But yeah, things changed when I reached India, and I knew that I was now in the process of becoming a man, since I was now facing a new stage of my life as an individual. And I really thank God for this journey, because you would understand that the moment when I landed in India, I was having people who came to my assistance, like friends and relatives. So in my case, it's more of like a fortunate scenario. So that's how I ended up coming to India to do my bachelor's in pharmacy. Yeah.
How did you then combine your pharmacy studies with the journalistic activities? I see you do a lot of research and publishing and speaking at international conferences and stages. How did that come about?
Oh, that's really good. So as a young child, I've been privileged to have that capabilities of becoming like a speaker, and I've been owning the podium space since I was young. So
Mhm.
you'd find that as much as I was like from primary school, I was a head boy of Edgefield Primary. Edgefield Primary, I was the head boy. And as much as when I went to A level, it was the same scenario. When I went to Fletcher High School, when I went to St. Mary's in Chitungwiza, and I was given the space of becoming a leader. And as much as you become a leader, one of the things that you have to have as an attribute is knowing how to own the podium and to deliver, communication and all those stuff. So as much as I was manufactured in this environment of leadership, it was more of a passion, connecting with people, motivating people, and all those things. So that's how the inspiration, ended up bubbling into researching and stuff. So when I came to India, actually, so my friend noticed that I was, very good in this thing of engaging people, collaborating with others. So they actually insisted that, why don't you like venture into these things of research since you're so good in, engaging people? So yeah, my first research, actually, it was more of my teachers. They approached me, actually, so they wanted to combine with with an international student. So that's how it started. So from there on, I was now in the research space, focusing on innovative fields in the pharmacy area and health sector. So till then, I've been researching, publishing in my bachelor's level. So I find that a lot of people are wowed by the fact that I'm in my bachelor's level and I'm publishing these things and stuff, and yeah, that's how it ended up, starting. So it's more of like a passion and inspiration there about it.
I initially thought you were a master's students, or PhD kind of,
Yeah,
because there was that component of research and publishing, and then your studies.
yeah,
So yeah, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, the thing is, modern students, modern undergrads are so
yeah,
far advanced when you compare them with maybe undergrads from maybe 20 years ago. A person would do
very true.
one thing at a given time. Today, an undergrad, like go on LinkedIn, you see undergrads like
Yeah,
writing these professional posts, and you be like, dude, we
how's
are
this even
toast
going on?
if we don't level up, we are out.
Yeah, they were out. That's the world, and things are just changing. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So lately, India has been like positioning itself as a technology powerhouse. What have you
yeah,
picked up from the observations and the international attention it's getting for its technology advancements? What can you share
yes.
with us?
Well, the first thing that I would say about India is I always told my friends back home, like, to be honest, India is light years ahead of us as far as technology is concerned. The first thing that I would rather compliment on as far as technology and the ICT space is concerned, the payment system in India is so advanced to the latest detail. They have this thing that is called UPI. So I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to link every bank in India under one system. So that bank, because of that, now it's very easy for like transactions to flow from bank A to bank Z. So, regardless of what bank you are having, you can actually do a transaction based on a fixed interest or fixed charge. So, meaning that it's very easy to do transactions and whatsoever. Then, as far as other things like transportation, I think recently the Prime Minister actually was unveiling this bullet train. So they built a bullet train that goes under this a river, right, in India. So it goes under that river and stuff. Yeah. So I would rather say, like, as far as the technology space is concerned, India is doing some wonders. And actually, I got the chance to go in this expedition. It's like a car expedition. So they were actually unveiling like new innovative cars and what so forth, So one of these cars that got my attention is Tata BE6. I actually got the chance to go inside the car and sit inside. It's like a Tesla, but it's more of a Tesla in terms of functionality and yeah, I don't know how they managed to do it. Like the car only costs around 20,000, but it's having a lot of functions as far as compared to a Tesla, which is cool, costing more than 100,000 US dollars. So I don't know how they do it, but Indians are always insisting on getting better and better as far as technology is concerned. And it's a big thumbs up for them. And I think as far as an international student, I was so inspired to bring some of these ideas back home. Starting from 5G. You can imagine, yeah, 5G actually it's free of charge if you're using 5G. You just need your mobile SIM and it's no need of payment. So connectivity is easy, very easy like that. And you go back to Zim right now, it's very hard to connect. So I think India, we have a lot of things to learn from India, and yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for your insights on that. And can we get into your journey on self-care and mental health, and what triggered that you to reach that state where you say, wait, I need to take a break, I need to take a step back and just relax a bit and have maybe a perspective on what's happening in my life. What happened?
I think there's a quote that says, behind every successful man, there's a woman. But in my case, there was a woman that was doomed for distraction for me. I'm just being sarcastic. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, something similar like that happened, and I found myself being in a relationship. It ended up being a long distance relationship, and unfortunately, things didn't go like the way I was planning. So it kind of like triggered, the fear of the unknown, whereby you start being insecure about yourself. So, in the moment of insecurities, you start doubting yourself. Am I capable of pleasing the next person who's going to come into my life? Yes or no? All those kind of insecurities. So I found myself now in a situation whereby I was depressed, very, very, very depressed, very, very insecure about the future and low. And I think that was the moment when I was, at my peak as far as writing and publication is concerned. And you'll be getting a lot of attention from people and people want to associate with you. But now the problem was I wasn't okay mentally. And I really needed some time alone, because I was also losing weight. And when people come to you, they think that everything's okay, and you have to pretend that everything is okay for the sake of business. I just told myself that I just need to take a break. And from there on, I remember deactivating everything from my LinkedIn. I stopped posting on my LinkedIn. I stopped also, these associations that include me being in the public space. And then I started trying the whole process from the start, by taking myself together, So that's what happened, about that thing, Yeah, it was triggered by heartbreak, and heartbreak then it turned out to be something that was good for me, I guess. Yeah. But
And
yeah,
what were the steps that you took? Was I saw partly you went in to started gymming. What other things or activities you engaged to help you deal with that, and also like coming back to self-care since you were busy with your publications? What did you do to self-care?
I went on something that they call a holy pilgrimage. That's the first thing that I did. I wanted to connect with God. In the process of connecting with God, that's when I understood that Jesus loves me. And the moment when you understand that Jesus loves you, you then understand, how am I going to give the next person this so-called love of Jesus Christ?
Mm.
So I would rather say my first step was connecting to God. I wouldn't say connecting to God, because God is always connected to us, right? But it was more of coming back to myself. It's like, I really need direction in my life. And for the starting point, it was, well, God. Then the next thing, it was reading books. So this quote that I came across, it says, "He who reads, he who does not read, has no advantage on who reads." So I started reading books. The first book that I read that changed my life is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I would really, really, really recommend that book. It's something that actually triggered a lot of events that were so positive and radical in my life. Think and Grow Rich. And then the next book, it was Atomic Habits by James Clear, I mean to say. Yeah, so these are some of the books that I started reading. And I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and also to a lot of personal teachers, like who teach more on personal development, like Jim Rohn. I think you know him. This guy called Jim Rohn. Yeah, exactly. So that actually changed, my mental, stability. Then the last thing, it was going back to the gym and focus more on my physical appearance, because people treat you on how you look. That's the first thing that we should understand. How you dressed,
Mm.
how you
Mm.
dress, and how you speak, and and so forth. So yeah, that was the initial phase on getting back on track. Yeah.
Wow, what a journey! What a journey! You mentioned something about LinkedIn. Um,
Mm.
what have you learned from being active on LinkedIn? And also, what can be your advice to people, ordinary people and professionals who, when you speak to, will share with you that they haven't found time and energy for LinkedIn?
Mm. One thing I would rather say is the world is becoming a global village. Because of this, we find that there's a certain connection that is being created by the social space. And as an individual, you should be active in that social space if you want to attain certain goals, either internationally or on a domestic level. I'll testify to this. I've connected with people who are responsible for my success and other personal achievement on the social space, in this case, LinkedIn. So I find myself using my LinkedIn space to connect with experts and other people, as far as collaborating on research and business ventures. So I rather advise to my advice to people is based on the fact that if you want to achieve something, not only in the social space, but in this modern reality, be active in the social space, and you need a certain media to do that. In this case, I'd rather advise LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is more professional, and and there's a lot of professional people on that. So yeah, LinkedIn is actually good, and it's the reason why we're connecting right now. We connected on LinkedIn, and yeah, that's the other thing that people should understand. Yeah. Mm.
Um, okay, so can you share with me in closing what your vision for Zimbabwe is, and factoring all the innovations, insights, and connections that we have made in India? What is now your ultimate uh, vision for Zimbabwe? Like one day when I'm done with my studies, when I get my career right and everything, this is what I would like to establish in Zimbabwe. What is it that you are thinking about right now?
Mm. I think that is a very, very, very good question, but I'll be very honest with you, since You have been very friendly to me in this podcast. Um, the first thing that I would tell you, Mr. Admire, is from a young age, I've been so inspired to change the next person to me. And I find myself having this opportunity of studying in India. It has inspired me with a lot of positive and advanced thoughts. And the next thing that I'm prepared to do is to pour these thoughts to the next project that is focused on empowering my people. And my people in this case is Zimbabwe. So I always tell my parents this. I'm not content with being a pharmacist and making my own personal money. I'm content about also empowering the people back home in Zimbabwe. You take a look at in the pharmaceutical sector right now. There's a shortage of medicine and all those hairquire topics in Zimbabwe, they need address, and we are the address, So I think as an individual, the first thing that I want to do is to pull back where I came from, and this is Zimbabwe. So I want to transform the pharmaceutical sector, and I always tell people that I want to be the youngest CEO in the big pharma, Yeah, so this is what I want to do. I want to own the public space in the pharmaceutical area in Zimbabwe, and who knows, Africa is as a whole, in the next steps. Yeah.
It's going to happen because you have already planted the seeds. And the way you are killing it on LinkedIn, you are already linking with professionals and experts who can make it happen. And as I said, you undergrads of nowadays, you scare us sometimes. So, yeah. So, for a kid who is sitting in Bari, for a kid who is sitting in Tafara, Epworth, Novo Shower, who is working hard on his mathematics, physics, and physical science. He has no idea of how it's going to happen, but he believes that one day it's going to happen. What's your words of encouragement to that kid from what you've experienced and what you have come to believe?
I would tell him, Orohe, that you should be delusional, very delusional in everything that you're doing. I think people always misquote this. They think that you have to come from a rich family or a wealthy background for you to achieve certain things. I'll testify myself. My father is not employed. My mom is a policewoman. And I also have lived a life whereby you have to, it's more of, from the hands to the mouth. So me having to have lived a life like that in Chitungwiza, Mufakose, and here I am right now. I can testify that as much as you put the determination, there's a way. I didn't come from Orodo, by the way. I didn't come from Highlands. I didn't come from a wealthy family. I came all the way from Chitungwiza. Then fortunately enough, along the way, my parents, ended up upgrading their lives and settling in waterfalls. But the whole idea is based on the fact that where there's a determination, there's definitely a way. So I always encourage that individual who's at that lowest point in life that regardless of the situation you are, you just have to be delusional up here. And the moment when you're delusional, keep on pouncing on that goal. You don't need money to make a goal to come to life. You don't need riches. You only need your brains. And by this is you just need to study. Keep on studying and keep on putting that determination. And definitely God will always create a way. That is my word to those people out there.
It will not be an episode of the ICT Minds podcast if we don't talk about your experience with AI and basic day-to-day technologies in India, since it's now a powerhouse of technology. Share with us your experience and fascinations, be it AI, be it smart gadgets, be it smart transportation.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Funny enough, as far as I'm in the pharmacy sector, I'm also doing a tech thing, but it's now in the background. But I will share it with you right now, like what we're doing. So right now we're actually doing something that is called Safari protocol. It's actually a blockchain transfer system that is based on the XPR. So meaning that they are going, yeah, exactly. So it's based on the blockchain. So it's something that we got inspiration when we came to India, and one of my friends was like, "Teach, we don't have any blockchain system that is functionable in Zimbabwe, and we have to create, a certain one." So yeah, that's what we're working on currently. So it's going to be a blockchain that is going to be running on WhatsApp. So you just need your WhatsApp to do transactions on sending money or on receiving money in the international space. So that is what I am currently doing. And as far as AI is concerned, I'll take you a little back in the past. I remember when ChatGPT was actually introduced. And I was talking to my friends back home in Zimbabwe about it by then. They didn't have an idea on what is it. And by then we're using ChatGPT for everything, for pushing forward our research and in class, everything. And we find ourselves that our school authorities, they were actually interested in teaching us, what this AI thing was. So we found that the Indian government on itself was investing money on teaching students about AI, which is something that we have to take some notes on as Africans and as Zimbabweans. So I feel like as far as I was part of this movement, it has changed my life. As far as an upcoming innovative young citizen, and I think that as Zimbabweans in Africa, we should also take part of this movement of AI because it's going to be the next big thing, in the current years to come.
Teacher, do you believe that young people, especially back home, let's use what you are exposed to, social media and all forms of technologies. Do you believe that young Zimbabweans are lazy? They want it easy, they complain too much, or share with us your perspective on what you have experienced, especially on young people back home. Do you believe that we are just folding our hands, waiting for someone to come and assist us?
I think I wouldn't say Zimbabweans are lazy because they are one of the hardworking people that I've seen in my whole life. But I would say this: we lack exposure. We lack exposure from the right individuals, and um, and we also lack the thing called transparency. There's no transparency in our systems in Zimbabwe. You find that our systems are only based on empowering certain individuals, and at the end of the day, it kills us as individuals. Then the other thing is we lack that thing of exposure. Do you know that Zimbabwe is producing one of the best, some of the best CEOs? They come from Zimbabwe. Let's talk about Ben Magara. Let's talk about Strive Masiwa. Let's talk about those all individuals. I feel like if these individuals, not them, but those Zimbabweans, us as young individuals, if we tap in their glory by listening to them, focusing on trying to understand how they attain their positions in lives, it can change us. So, but unfortunately, I don't know what the movement right now about socialites, all those things, those socialites and these kids, I don't know why they're taking the public space in Zimbabwe, but that's what individuals are now focusing on. So, because of that, now I feel like we're going to suffer damage, to be honest, and we're going to lose a lot of talent because of people, just entertaining those so-called skits and socialites. I find it very, 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 hectic and something that we shouldn't pay attention to. So I feel like if we just pay attention to the necessary stuff and the necessary exposure, we can definitely achieve it as young Zimbabwe. Yeah, that's my idea on that. Yeah.
And can you share a few AI tools that you are using, be it in your studies or in your researching activities, that people can go
Yeah.
out there and experiment?
Yeah. So for me, I only use ChatGPT Premium. It is everything. That's the best thing.
Oh,
So I use the
man.
premium version. Yeah. So when you're using the premium version, actually it has everything. So I don't need like to source other AIs out there. But what AI can I use? For me, it's only ChatGPT. Maybe then they Gemini. I also try to use Gemini then there, but it's mostly ChatGPT. And if you get the chance, I always try to encourage people. If you get that $10, just sacrifice it and pay for a premium. It will change your life. Yeah, so that's my definite answer on that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's now allowed in Zimbabwe. They didn't have the Zimbabwean
Oh,
availability. Yeah, it was not there
also
on their
available.
region. I'll check. I'll check if it's now available for Zimbabwe. But when it really came out, people were all excited and they went to the website and it was saying unavailable for Zimbabwe. So we're like, okay, they don't want us there. So as for me, I grew to like other tools such as DeepSeek, even Microsoft
Yeah,
Copilot.
DeepSeek.
Mm, Yeah, DeepSeek is something.
Especially DeepSeek. It's
Yeah,
something.
DeepSeek is.
It's something, man. I can testify to that. That thing nearly knocked the feet of Chat. I don't know how they did it. Actually, had a small budget, and they did something that ChatGPT actually required a lot of money and investment. But yeah, DeepSeek is something else.
Yeah. So yeah, currently I'm using Microsoft Copilot and DeepSeek. However, I'm more skewed towards DeepSeek because it's more comprehensive and more reasonable. It always like explain why it came to this conclusion, and I like that. I like quantified or results. Yeah. So thank you so much. That was it. I hope I was not too hard on you. And if you have any last words, if you have shout outs to make back home here or over there or to the world, this is the chance for you, teacher.
First of all, I really want to thank you, Mr. Admire. I really like what you're doing, to be honest. I noticed that there was a shift in consistency as far as you're taking this thing very seriously. And as far as I'm concerned, you really mean business. I see the way you're cooperating with people on LinkedIn, and trust me, it's never worthless. It's going to make sense at the end of the day, because the people that you engage, definitely they're going to also give back the attention. But as my last words, as far as a young, ambitious individual, is be delusional in anything that you do in life. Don't take a no as an answer, and always strive for the best. Those are actually my last words for this podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, teacher, for making time to share with us your experience in India, your world view on technology, journalism, self-care, and dating, your dating experience, a bit of heartbreak. And thank you for your perspective on what Zimbabweans are truly in need of exposure and a bit of, I also feel like a bit of guidance, young people, especially the young population needs a bit of guidance. And thank you for sharing how you see like your vision for Zimbabwe and a bit about your family, how you grew up with the architecture of your family. Because when we see each other on the internet, we think, oh, this one is the child of the minister, or he's got some rich uncle, But when people start when people start sharing their stories, you start realizing that no, these people have excuse me, they've survived a lot, they are strong.
Yeah, it's
And you
true.
can even see with the character, yeah. So I'm learning not to be judgmental, especially when I see people looking nice on the internet to be like another spoiled child, You need to give people an allowance to share with you where they are
Yeah,
coming
it's
from, where they are, how they got where they are, and where they're going. And you saw the previous guy who was here in Bongen. He also has a humbling
yes, yes.
story. Please go and watch the
Okay.
episodes. He shares as well. So I'm learning to strip away my ideals of who this person is based on how they
Yeah, it's
present
true. On their
themselves.
looks.
And yeah. So thank you so much for making time, and I will share the podcast with you as soon as it's out.
I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Mr. Pai, and I really wish you well on your journey. And I really like what you're doing. To be honest, it's inspiring, and I would advise that as an individual,